Grand Rising family, is Shay Seeking. Welcome back to the channel. Um, Again, if you enjoy the content, go ahead and like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget to join us in the Facebook group American Aborigines Unchained for more information and posts like this from me and others. So I was gonna do something on this a while back. Lost the information in my phone, but it was just a thought, and this is just something random that I wanted to kind of speak to you guys about. And it's the fact that when this whole so-called pandemic or pandemic occurred, they didn't really start putting emphasis. I mean, people were reporting getting sick around December, January, February, and then there were some discrepancies about when, so and so knew, you know, the one who presides in the east of the garden and here in the Americas. Okay, there's some things about him knowing and not knowing or whatnot. And then I also posted something a while back when Farrakhan was doing a video. I don't know, it was um, something that they had going on. And I remember somewhere in that speech, he said um, something along the lines of, oh, so now you've been, talking about Trump and how many people got to die. And then he said, oh, so you've been to Wuhan, China. What was you doing there? I didn't know you was there. And then he also went on to say, now I hear that you have something that you want to bring back to America. So that made me think, because this was probably around February 20th, I think, when this video was put up online. But again, it was just very strange that that was said. So then I started to, we're all looking at all aspects of this thing, right? So then now people are saying, so of course I know that there's something that they're trying to pull with the mask, which is just about compliance, because these masks are not safe. They're harmful for you when you're breathing them in. I think that, and again, you can go and do your own research on that. And I think that what they're trying to do is get us to comply, and see who just complies with this whole thing, until they get this vaccine. They're trying to stretch it out. Again, so they will have to create something that looks like an increase or something like that, which supposedly was supposed to happen a long time ago, but didn't. And then now we had the riots and it still didn't go up as much as they thought. So again, just keep your eye on the fact that they're going to be moving things forward in their own little way. And you have to be able to discern what's going on. So then I was already thinking that, how they're doing the 2020 ID, they pushed that back a little bit, I think. They also pushed back the, what do you call it? The census, the 2020 census. And there's just a lot of things going on right now, even with the voting and things like that. And there's a lot of things that are biblically written out word for word that are occurring now that happened before. And again, the Bible doesn't, you don't have to believe in a so-called God in order to read the Bible and interpret what it's saying. There's very extensive information in one book there if you know how to see. And if you're not just reading it at the surface, once your eye is open, or those your three eyes are open, then you'll be able to see in depth what we're really talking about, and you'll be able to just use these things. They're just supposed to be guiding lights. Same thing as we look at people that look at these supposed deities or ancient gods and stuff. Their story and the thing that explains who these entities were is just something else for you to bring um, into your mind's eye when you're trying to discern and see what's going on in this world today. So it's kind of like guides. That's the only thing I look at. So you're embodying the traits and things of these particular beings in order to sift through things. I mean, they open up doors, okay? It's some kind of way, again. And this is just on a level of people that just want to learn. They don't want to turn into pan this or pan that. They just are looking for the information, and that's it. So again, maybe we'll go into some stuff that I think is actually going on that I see right here reoccurring, because again, this is not the first or the second world I read that supposedly had been a world that ended. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything crumbled into dust and whatnot. It's just meaning that something is coming to a turn. Something is being unveiled. Something is going to be revealed, and it's going to be something that is traumatic for people to make it through. And again, they'll get over it like always, and then there'll be a new world order to a certain extent there. So again, I'm just paying attention to what's going on, because from the beginning I said, why is it that Amazon and Walmart can stay open? Nobody even wearing a mask for most of the time that everything else was closed. Not the employees, not the shoppers, all the way even up until a couple of weeks ago, they just started making it mandatory to wear the mask at Walmart. And it really doesn't matter about the mask, guys, because they're useless. They're useless. They're useless. They do not, even some of the boxes that these masks come in says that it does not even protect you from coronavirus. That is, these masks that I see people wearing, the cloth mask and the other mask, the surgical mask, um, are not made to prevent against this disease at all. The droplets, the mesh or the fabric within these masks are too large, and the fact is that the virus, if there is, okay, could easily make its way through these masks. And we have to stop saying that the certain people or someone died of COVID, because throughout this whole thing, we'll never get a proper answer. We'll never get a proper number. They've come on TV and told you nationally that they are counting people that die of other causes if they had or have COVID, whether they were tested or not. So this is just COVID symptoms even. If they die in the hospital, even not even being tested, they will have COVID on their death certificate. So if you slow down and think about that, that all of these numbers that we are seeing are not people that died of COVID. There are people that died of other causes and illnesses that have that written on their death certificate. So now that we've found out about that, let's move on. What I'm trying to show you is that all the way around, this is a warped, misleading mass indoctrination that could lead to a mass extermination of certain groups. Now, I know that it's really not supposedly about race in that sense. I've done a video on races and what I think about that term. But there is, and I don't like to use white supremacy, but there is an order of supremacy, because again, foreign entities, I'm talking about in particular when we're talking about the Americas, anyone that is a foreigner or an alien or an immigrant or something that came here, left their mother and father to cleave on to their wife, which would be the Americas, and receive the benefits, meaning land and the minorities, so-called what they call you today, right? Of those lands, or the children of those lands, um, were consumed and owned by these particular founding families. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. When we're talking about the Old Testament, the storylines that we're reading is about their ancestors, the founding fathers and their fathers. And it's about your ancestors that they encountered when they came here to the Americas, especially when we're talking about the Torah. Okay, so again, we have to look at this so that we can know where we're going, and we can see, for example, how things are going on, and use wisdom, knowledge, discernment, logic, and reason, along with the other tools that we have inside of us that have been uh, uh, suppressed by their tools as far as mainstream media, indoctrination stations such as schools and churches, and then keeping us working until we can't even work anymore, and then letting you off as a widow to a certain extent so that you can receive some type of benefits from them for working your ass off and neglecting everything else that is important to human life. And now we find ourselves in a situation where we may have to um, uh, look to this same system that put us here in order to survive, instead of being self-sufficient and doing things on our own. So I know that they use these things as division or ways and tools to divide the people by color, by everything else. So what I'm saying is, let's get back to the topic. Someone was posting this. My people in Denver told me Walmart just went cashless overnight. No paper money. Pay attention, fam. So again, even mentioning that, they were already with the COVID saying, oh, try not to use cash, and all these little things. You have to think about all the things that you've been hearing over time, and then use your mind's eye in order to determine what you think you see here. So it's kind of funny how these people in these places, and then Amazon is going to come out the other day and say that they only had 10 COVID related deaths. from their warehouses nationwide. Now, we all know that that has to be some bull, because a lot of people were coming out and saying that they were not even taking any precautions up until, again, recently. Okay, so these people employ mega amounts of people every single day, all different shifts, coming and going in and out before they started taking any precautions. And you mean to tell me that those are all the deaths that they have? Come on, guys, really think about this. Not to mention the extra flow of activity that was going on, boxes coming from different countries and everything that these people were touching, that supposedly this virus could have still been sitting on them, especially when we're talking about Prime and other thing, same day shipping and stuff like that from other countries. So, again, it would be ridiculous for us to believe that mega tremendous lie that they're telling about the fact that it was only that many deaths. Okay, so that's first thing first. So again, and also at that time they were bringing in more supplies and workers, and workers, all different shifts. They have so many different shifts there. That's just ridiculous. So again, it doesn't matter what they say, but I'm just trying to pull from that they publicly went on the mainstream media and told you that only 10 people from Amazon throughout this whole nation passed away from the COVID. And you should know that that is a red fucking flag, right? Okay. So then with Walmart, I think they talked about one guy or something passing away. But again, a lot of times if you really are paying attention and you look at these newscasts, you'll notice that the people are giggling, smiling. They don't look that upset. It just seems like something is off. Like, maybe, did this person really die? What is going on? Is this just a play? Is this another part of the act? Since the world is a stage and everything, right? And they use their puppets and their celebrities, and they use all these different things to keep you in a state of um, low vibrating consciousness, right? Okay. So with all those things being said, right? How did they do that? And then you hear things about, okay, the government having, or someone having, a sit down with stores like Walgreens and CVS and everything like this about who and how everything is going to operate during this so-called shutdown, while all types of Americans had to close their doors in their small businesses. Again, a lot of these people will not be able to come back from this. Even if you want to start a business or something right now and you don't want to comply with the mask. I'm hearing that now they're not telling the public this, but I'm thinking there has to be some reason why people that know good and damn well that you don't need this mask would not have the choice to, fight against not doing so, knowing that they would lose even more customers, or they just don't believe or don't want to comply with it. Um, and then I noticed that, like, even in my old town, some bars and stuff got closed down overnight. And I'm guessing because they wouldn't comply, because I'm hearing that there's like a $500 fee if they catch someone in your establishment without a mask. So that would be a way to keep these business owners under control, especially knowing that they need to get back to work and they need to get money coming in, or they're going to lose everything. So this is the way that they get people to comply to things that are not always the best thing. And when we go along like sheep and we don't make noise and we don't pass out flyers and we don't tell people and speak on this information, who knows what will be next? Who knows what will be next? They might require you to wear fucking blindfolds if you want to travel. You know what I'm saying? It might be something ridiculous like this. So again, we have to learn to discern what's going on and when we need to stand up and make some noise about something. Because again, it's all about compliance. We know the masks don't work. There's so much information. People are putting their self on the line here to show you, doctors, nurses, again. So they say they have the best, but the best of what? At manipulating the people? Or is this really the best? Did we check the credentials of any of these doctors to see what they've done over time? To see why they're praising these doctors and scientists and the top scientists and things? You have not. But there's other people that are putting their lives on the line to come out and risking losing their license and their livelihood in order to tell you the truth, and you're not paying attention. Okay. So again, what I'm saying is this a worldwide agenda. They have to cut cords and they have to do these things in a way where they have distractions and chaos going on. So you're not really paying attention to the little things that are going on. So this is not the first time that I saw somebody put something up like this about the fact that these stores are going cashless. So let's look at what's going on with this article here. Amazon reached out to Walmart and Target about cashierless technology. Now, when did this happen? In March 15th. When did when did they start to amp things up and really shut things down? Okay. I'm just wondering. Okay. So another thing, I noticed that people are posting about the ventilators. Now, one thing we need to know is that a ventilator is the wrong way, said by some other doctors, to handle a situation like this. Um, and that we do know that 80% of the people that go on ventilators will not come off of them. Again, because it's inflating your lungs um, and damaging your lungs while you're on this machine, because this is not the proper machine that you would use for this type of so-called disease. So again, them asking for ventilators is asking for uh, more tools to make sure that more people pass away. And again, who cares about the testing? If most of the people are testing, we could get 1 billion people that tested positive. The thing is, most of these people didn't have any type of what do you call it? Any type of symptoms. They didn't even know that they had it. And it's still a small, teeny tiny amount of people that have passed away. And again, we can't even say that because, again, we know that other people that passed away from other things are having COVID written on their death certificate. So that cancels out the numbers in total. I don't see why people don't understand this. They came out and said it to you on national TV or on your television. And you believe everything else you see just when they say it. So again, why wouldn't you believe that? So if they're saying that, that means that they're lying about the fucking numbers. Even the numbers that they were giving at first from the CDC and whatever. The place where they were getting this information from said that these may not be the accurate numbers. Okay? What happened to some of the key players? Now they're starting to come back, and you see them with what's his name? Pence or whatever. But Trump is not there, and Pence has been speaking a little bit more lately with the same Funky Fauci, and the one chick or whatever. But again, what's going on with that? And it seems that Pence has a presidential or some form of a seal in front of him when he's speaking, but a lot of times, as of lately, Trump speaks and he doesn't have a seal. So I'm just wondering what happened. We also have to remember the big test. Everybody was saying that shutdown that happened last year around this time was a test. Okay. We have to also look into what that Andrew Yang was talking about when it was coming to during his campaign about the things he wanted to do for people or to change things up. And notice that a lot of these things are things that are actually going on right now. So again, there's no need to vote either left or right. Both of the wings are on the same damn bird, and they're going to keep doing as long as we keep believing in them and trusting them when we know that they're lying, they're going to keep on doing whatever they can do. And we're going to wake up and find out one day that there is no way out. And those who were screaming out for you to wake up and pay attention and make some noise, you're going to wish that you would have listened. And that's just it. So here we go. That's a mouthful, but I'm just trying to get through this. So they reached out to Walmart and Target about cashierless technology in March 2020. The cost of implementing the technology is one of the issues. Now, we have Erin Tilley, Sarah Nasser. Again, I was just putting that out there. Because a lot of times names, are very important when we're talking about things and we want to look peer into the past and see what and whose family lines and things are connected. I don't know. I just see things differently. Okay. So Amazon.com Inc. is trying to interest the nation's largest retailers into collaborating on technology behind cashierless stores. So far, they aren't sold. Now, what would have had to happen to sell them? Because many mom and pop stores were already struggling because of these big giants or so-called giants. And it just seems like this was maybe a part of the plan in the first place. It just seems like that is it. And then they want to give you these stimulus things or whatever. Like, what the hell is that going to do for anyone? I'm telling you guys, you better get prepared for, like, I don't really shop anymore. I haven't been going to the stores, but I went to the store this weekend because I needed something for the house. And like, it just seems like a desert out there. You can tell that there's no stock really coming in. There's no back stock. A lot of these stores are empty. And remember that even within the last year or two, a lot of these stores, they were already saying we're going to go out of business, right? Um, and a lot of these stores were going to be shutting down. So even if you saw them putting up a new one in your neighborhood, doesn't mean that it's not going to be one of those stores that come down. Okay. So Amazon, Mason, just saying, go ahead and check out their symbol. I don't think it's on here. And then look at that Freemason symbol. I did something on that, or put a post up about that a while back. But is making some of the software that underpins its Go stores available through an organization called Dent. And what are they going to be putting a dent into? Which has had talks with officials at Walmart Inc. and Target Corp. Okay, according to people familiar with the matter, the talks are continuing. The people said, but neither retailer currently plans to participate, according to a person close to Target and Walmart spokesperson or spokesman. Okay. The talks highlight Amazon's or Amazon's ambition to have ambition. So there's a push there. So again, could this richest person in the world push something like this? Because again, these are the hands that bend the fingers of your presidents and prime ministers and things of this nature. Pharmaceutical industries, things like this. Ambition to have other retailers adopt its technology, and the interest of retailers like Walmart and Target in modernizing their stores with cheaper, faster network technology and more automation and data-driven and data. So we're talking biometrics. We're talking about them scanning your retinas without you knowing, them scanning our faces over the past couple of years without you knowing, and them also doing it when it comes to this 2020 ID without a lot of you knowing it. Driven decision making to go technology, to the goal technology. In addition to cashierless purchasing, also provides automated inventory management. And again, this also kind of goes for how a lot of people are sticklers for how their systems scan items in and out lately. So that the store knows how to back up. See, because again, I'm telling you now, all this is making me think, why are they boarding up the stores? It's the big box stores that they're boarding up more than any other store. Some liquor stores I saw, but I can see why they probably would do that. Anyways, whatever. Burn them motherfuckers down. I don't give a fuck. So anyways, Amazon faces an uphill battle. So I'm wondering why they're boarding up their stores. Is it because they're installing things at night? They don't want people looking in there? What's going on in these stores? Really? Because people have already said something about them being turned into FEMA camps, but I know sometimes, even if we're in the right direction, they'll give us a pinpoint so that when it actually comes, you're looking there instead of looking all around you to see where they're actually really going to put it. Okay? Or what they're really going to do with it. Okay? So it will be, if all these things start turning into these cashless things and you have to have a chip or something, we will be living in some kind of structured, huge FEMA camp throughout the entire nation. They won't have to remove you from your homes this way, but they can make sure if you're coming and going, they can track people and see who's been coming and going along with you. So it's just things that we better just be watching out for. And it's just so funny that even in March, China went and told everybody that, now that a lot of so-called Asian people were wearing those masks, even before this happened, because we think that they were worried about the air or whatever, but a lot of these people were people that didn't want their face scanned on that system. And now they're almost complete with having every single person scanned into their system for the new uh, social credit technology that they have going on, which is pretty much a cashless society. And if you're not a good child, then you will not be able to participate in certain functions, like going to the grocery store, possibly. So this is what I'm saying. So, um, anyhow, let's see. Oh, one thing. Even my husband said he went to the store the other day to pick up something, and I ended up staying in the car. And he said that he had scanned something on the scanner, and then he took it off and put it back in the basket because he wasn't going to get it. And then it said somebody was going to come over. And I guess there was a camera right above his head that showed him scanning the thing and putting it back into his cart so he was going to leave it. But it's just funny how that happened, and he could actually see that he was being recorded from above his head, right? So these things are being installed without your knowing. And that's why I'm saying I think they want us to wear the mask for other compliance, but also because I think it's an easier way for them to scan your retinas. Again, because once they get that, then they know who you are, whether you have something on your face covering up your mouth or not, right? So let's see. Okay. So Amazon faces an uphill battle in winning over retailers. Or do they? Or does this whole stunt just been pulled for the big mega monster to take everything over? Which for years have viewed the Seattle-based company as a threat. Okay? So again, these people viewed them as a threat, but again, they were pulled into a dark office possibly, and twisting their arms, they possibly had to go ahead and comply. And if you don't want to comply, then you cannot stay open. And that's just the bottom line. Walmart, for instance, has asked some of the traditional vendors not to use Amazon cloud computing services to avoid giving a competitor more financial muscle. Other retailers have also have tried to avoid using Amazon's data storage and computing services, and they have a lot of tech um, under that one company. Mm. So anyhow, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that. And then it's just so funny, like I said. So once they have closed everything else down, shut you down, and give you the opportunity to just go to Walmart or Target more than likely without even protecting you or them during the whole damn time and up until a couple of weeks ago, increasing the number of customers, increasing the number of workers, all of this stuff here. And while everybody else was closed down, you don't think that they made enough money? You don't think they made enough money because a lot of, like I said, they were worried about the financial things side of it. But you caused this pandemic, or rather, I'm not saying it was caused just because of this, but this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time. Okay? The perfect time. So you be the judge of that. So anyhow, now these companies have made mega buku bucks over the past couple of months, and now they are popping up, turning cashless overnight after being boarded up from these rioters that never made it to most of these places and most of these cities that are boarded up. So what else are they doing in there? I just want to know. I just wondering if you want to know. Because now we're moving into a whole nother paradigm now since this has happened. So what do you think? Did they close these down because this is what we were going towards in the first place? But they always have to create some kind of something, or a distraction or disaster or pandemic or something, in order to keep you not paying attention. So now when all of this stuff is finished, they'll be expecting you to have something, some kind of chip, some kind of mark or something, right? While they're testing and taking your DNA samples and the COVID test that may be planting something deep down inside of your skull, possibly, or not. You be the judge. Okay? You be the judge. But I'm just saying that we just need to be paying attention. And what will you do if you don't have this vaccine that they want you to get? And they're making this, I think that this is some kind of life changing, is some deep, deep, deep shit going on when it comes to this a vaccine that they want to give everybody. All of this is actually getting geared for us to be forced to take that vaccination. And if you don't want to, that's why they're talking about mandatory vaccines around this time. All of this stuff that you're hearing, they say it's separate from each other, but it all is part of one big scheme, one big agenda. One big agenda. And because people are afraid, you should see some of these people with these damn masks on. And you know, the nastiest thing I think I see with a mask is a whole family driving in the car, right? Everybody got their mask hanging from the rear view mirror. All the masks you could tell these people ain't really probably changing the mask. They just like, oh, I don't care, I'm just running in the store with this on real quick. And then they'll grab all the masks and pass them out to the people in the car. I think that's the most disgusting thing ever. All the bacteria and nasty, oh, I just can't even think about it. I can't even think about it. And plus, just besides, if you do your own research, guys, you'll find out that there is a lot wrong with having even doctors complaining and having issues, health issues, after wearing those for a long, extensive amount of time when it comes to surgeons and things like this. So you really just want to be paying attention. You know, we just are crying out for you to pay attention so that we have a better chance when it does come to the day that even us that are supposed to be woke, we might need you. You might have a better eye at looking at something than we do. So again, this is about our livelihood. This is about something deeper. They will not tell you about this on the fucking news. You have to go out and look for your own information. And you have to be aware of what's going on. If not for yourself, for your children's sake and their future on this plane. We won't be here forever. Paperwork won't matter at some point in time when it comes to this type of thing. Okay? So I want to thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys see where I'm coming from. This does not seem like this is something that just happened. This seems like this is something that was planned. And it just always will to me. There's so many things that keep coming up every day that make it seem that way. So again, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to join us in the Facebook group, American Aborigines Unchained. And yes, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.